Hi, this is a little note on something that came up very recently. I've done writings on this before and basic notes on this, but and it's the subject of rope allergies. There are generally a couple of common mistakes that come up when people are talking about rope allergies, especially with natural rope, is that sometimes people think they're allergic to the fibers themselves, but they're actually laboring under a misapprehension. People go, I'm allergic to hemp, jute, or whatever kind of rope. You may not actually be allergic to the rope at all. Mass-produced rope is almost always coated with chemicals as a lubricant, which is used in the manufacturing process. Some ropes are impregnated with chemicals to preserve them and stop them rotting in wet conditions, and a lot of this stuff isn't good for the skin. So one of the things is make sure that it's not the chemicals that you're reacting to. Make sure you are actually allergic to the fibers. Synthetic ropes aren't made with those same chemicals, so on the whole, so it's easy to say we had a bad reaction to a natural fiber but not a synthetic rope, but the synthetic fibers don't need those chemicals in the mass-produced manufacturing. The jute I use, Mocha jute, is a handmade rope, and it isn't coated with any of those nasty chemicals, and I've never had anybody have a bad reaction to it. Doesn't mean they won't, but I've never had one. But even from some people who have said that they've had bad reactions to natural fiber ropes before, which leads me again to believe that sometimes it's the chemicals that you get on mass-produced, machine-made rope rather than anything else. Hemp and jute are both bast fiber ropes, which is it's a rope made from the skin of the plant rather than the central part. And I think there are lots of different types of bondage rope. I'm just looking at a list I've got here: flax, which is linen, hemp, jute, some that I can't even pronounce, some Roselet hemp, Roselle hemp, something like that. Generally, for bondage use, the most popular natural fibers are jute, then hemp, then probably linen or flax, whichever word. And remember that a lot of them are, pretty much all of them are completely different species, and if you have a reaction to one, you might not have a reaction to the other. Some people have general grass allergies, which can cause problems with it, and it can just be irritating. Sometimes brand new rope is quite hairy, and if it hasn't been treated, I consider it very important to treat your rope to turn it into a decent condition to use on the human body. But if you use very new raw jute, that can be irritating just because it's kind of scratchy and it can get into the skin and cause irritation in that way. Generally, it's not going to cause long-term problems, but it's a thing that is worth considering. Okay, so finally, real allergies to natural fiber ropes do exist, and you might actually have one. However, don't assume you do when there might be other factors causing the irritation. You could be doing a disservice to yourself there, and causing yourself not to use what I would feel is the best rope, because that's the style of rope I like. Basically because of another factor that's not being considered. This might help a few people and not others, but I think it's worth considering what's really causing you a problem, and consider, often the chemicals are so heavy you can smell it on the rope, and they really need serious work to get the chemicals out, and that might obviously cause problems with the rope itself. My advice would always be to go for the best rope that you can afford. Get rope that's been made by a really good maker, specifically for the purposes of using on human beings. The rope that's made with chemicals, it wasn't made to be used on human beings. It was made to be manufactured to a price. It was made to, serve a purpose that didn't involve tying people up for erotic effect, for fun and profit. Okay, so that's that. I hope that's slightly useful in some way. Cheers.